Hello,
Hi,
how are you?
good. How are you?
Well, we'll give it a little bit of a minute. I think she's just trying to figure out how to get on the Zoom.
Yeah,
In the back.
I did figure my camera out. Apparently, there's a switch on the side of my computer that I didn't know existed.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I wouldn't have known I had to do that either. I was like, doesn't this thing just turn on automatically?
yeah, I've never seen one with an actual switch.
I'm sure it's at 8 o'clock. Let me see here. Yeah. And she's like, my computer's slow. No worries. There we go.
Hi,
Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. This is Juliana. So we texted earlier. She's a coach in training. So I appreciate you being okay with her hopping on just to shadow this call.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Hi, Juliana.
Hi.
Juliana actually is a KGG client. So she's done the program herself.
Oh, nice. Wait, can you remind me what a KGG is? Because I keep seeing it and I.
Yeah. So KGG is the program after CCA. It's, if for clients who are interested in applying, it's an extended program.
Okay.
They sign on for a year, and it's basically taking everything that they learned in CCA and now putting it into practice a little bit more.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So, all right. So today's call is what we call our grocery shopping or food shopping call. We're going to show you some little things that you can search for. We're going to use the site Nutrition as the guide. You don't have to, what I always like to say is you don't have to order from Nutrition. I like to use it almost like a Google search bar because it's literally meant for those specific, things that we want to implement in our everyday diets that you might not know exist until you're searching for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll do that. In the meantime, while I bring this up, how have you been feeling? I know you and I and Michelle were texting back and forth about some stuff.
Yeah. So this week was actually kind of hard just because I had a lot of stuff going on with like my new job that's coming up, and I also upped my meds for the new job just so that I'm not like freaking out when I get there. So I think my appetite had decreased a bit. And I just
remind me again, what meds are you on?
Zoloft.
Okay.
Yeah,
that one's a tough one. Have you ever tried, because like I'm on Lexapro and I've never had an issue with my appetite when I was on Lexapro.
To be honest with you, it really has just been like since I was just upping the dosage, like I haven't really had like insane symptoms. But the first time around, like I did just lose my appetite maybe for like, I don't know, I want to say like a week and a half or something. And then after that it was just normal because it's normal for me to have no appetite. So.
Yeah. So it might be a transitionary period now that when did you change the dosage?
It was sometime in the middle of last week. So maybe like a week from today or something.
Yeah. And it typically takes 2 weeks for us to kind of start to see the changes a bit. So that makes sense. I actually, and it's not uncommon, we often think that this time of year is actually good for some people, which it might be. I know I get seasonal depression, but I actually up my dosage starting today because sometimes it's just also what's going on in your life. Like if you've just, there's a lot going on. I think I might need just a little bit extra support to balance out a bit because I'm feeling that change happening. Then that's what you do. And I think it's important, like, having that awareness of how to do it safely. Because I remember when I first got on meds, after my daughter was born and I had really, really bad postpartum depression, I was like set on like, okay, I don't need medication. I should be able to just manage this on my own, because the brain, you know, we think the brain's not an organ, it doesn't need meds, right? So I cut cold turkey. That was a mess.
Oh my God.
You know, and even getting back on, like I went on too quick versus like weaning myself onto it. So it's good that you have that awareness of just like, let me just a little bit of an increase just to help me through this period.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. That must have been insanely rough.
Yeah, so there's actually, I appreciated this show so much. There's a show on Netflix called One Day at a Time. Love it. Love it show. And I relate to it so much because, you know, I grew up in a Cuban household, and my grandmother, the grandmother in the show. Yeah, the grandmother in the show reminds me a lot of my grandmother. And in the show, the main character, the mom, decides to stop medication. She just stopped cold turkey. And that whole episode was her basically coming off of it and having like a really bad attack. And at the end of the episode, the guy that is the landlord that she's really close with is saying, you know, listen, like, maybe this is just what you need. And she's like, well, I don't want to need it. And he's like, he has glasses. So he's like, I don't want to wear these, but let's go for a drive without them. Right. Like, you know, like sometimes
it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's an organ that just needs support. So
yep, exactly. Agreed.
So I think today's call, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, like I haven't watched that show. I should.
It is fantastic. One Day at a Time. I love because they talk about mental health. They talk about, you know, all the stuff that's just going on in today's day and age. They address it in such a nice, like, it's comedic, but it also has its like really tough moments. It's a really good show.
Oh, that's so cool. I gotta check that out.
So I think today's call will be really helpful because, you know, when we're looking at our health and how to balance out hormones, you know, the call I just had prior to this one, she's like pretty much coming close to the end of her program. She's like, I didn't realize how much of this is mindset. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I just thought it was gonna be 6 months and I'm done. And I'm realizing like, this is like long term. I said, right, you know, but in the meantime, while we start to tackle that mindset, we make these little improvements, right? The food we eat, the water we drink, that we should be doing anyway. But at the end of the day, you could be doing all of that and still be struggling because the mindset is such a big piece of it.
That is the only fact. I think a lot of, there's been like the past few Zoom calls that I've been on, like there's always at least one thing that has like resonated with me, which is really, really neat. Because it's just like exactly what you're saying. Like, it's like we all have it in us to be able to do these things, but until it clicks the right way for the right person at the right time, it might never change. So yeah, it's annoying because then when you when you hear something that resonates with you, you're like, oh my God, I'm so dumb. Like I should have already, like I knew this already. It's just that like what was it? Oh my God, that I think Michelle was talking about, she was talking about treating food or treating a meal like as if it was a dosage. And for some reason, I don't know why that resonated with me. Maybe it's because I'm taking meds now. But I was like, oh, it's just a dosage. So now every time I'm like, oh, I need just a little dosage. And it's stupid, but it's just not stupid, but like it's stupid to me that like it wasn't processing prior to that.
It feels kind of so like logical, but
yes, it feels logical. Yeah.
You know, it's not always common. You know, she recommended, you know, when I was doing the program myself, that's what she had recommended for me because I enjoy food, but it's not something that I have on my mind. Like, oh, I have to eat. Oh, I need to feed myself. Oh, I really should drink water. Like, it's just, it's last resort. It's like, oh crap, I haven't, you know, done anything today for myself. Right. And especially when you're in those depressive episodes, or for me, when I'm even in the anxiety episodes, it's, you're trying to just battle your mind all day long, that the last thing is like, what am I going to eat? What do I need to eat? Right. So that's, I think, why these calls have become so key for a lot of our clients, and they find it so beneficial because it makes that stress of having to think about food it just cuts it down. It's like, okay, now I have my list. I know what to regularly keep in my house. I know when my inventory day is going to be. So now if I'm hungry or I need to up my calories, I'm going to go for this, which is an easier and healthier alternative for me versus the stuff that's going to harm my body.
Yeah, for sure. I need
So
that.
let me share my screen here. Right, so we are gonna, oh, this box up here is driving me crazy. All right, so what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna share this document with you so that you can have it pop up at any time.
Oh, cool.
Let's see here. So what is your email?
EMP2313 at Gmail. Yeah.
All right, there you are.
Sorry, I'm just gonna yell really quickly to ask my husband to turn on the light for me. Hold on.
Okay. While you do that, I'm gonna plug in my laptop.
Okay.
Okay.
Light on?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
All right, can you see that?
Yeah.
The screen there? Okay, awesome. So talk to me about what current foods and snacks you like.
Okay. I'm pretty simple. So my like go-to, so I wrote like I did the must-haves list for myself. Do you want me to just send that to you, or you want me to just tell you on the call now?
What do you mean by must-haves? Like things that you want in your house?
Yeah, like, and I separated them like fruits and vegetables, protein, snacks, fruits, meals. Like, where do you want me to start?
Let's do it that way, because essentially what this list becomes, it becomes a working document. It's fluid.
Okay.
You know, it might look like a really rough draft at first, and then what the goal is to make it become essentially your shopping list. And you can even get it as detailed as possible, as like, these are the foods I get from this store, these are the foods I get from this website, these, right?
Yeah.
So it's less time that we need to think. One of the clients, and I think she posted it on Facebook, so I'll add that as your homework to look. I'll tag you on that post. She shared how she turned her list into that shopping list, and just like that, broke it down by like, you know, all these different things. And I'll tag you in that, because that was like really eye-opening. So let me just put that as your homework. Where are you? Okay, so I'm gonna just put it down here for right now. Tag Emily on Chelsea's list post. Yeah, hers was like really cool to see. All right, so let's put it down that way. However you set it up, what are your current foods and snacks?
Okay, so fruits and vegetables are avocado, romaine lettuce, cucumbers, sweet potatoes, cabbage, green beans, Brussels sprouts, and edamame.
All right, what's next?
Okay, and then proteins, I have so tofu or silken tofu, unsweetened soy milk, chicken, fish, eggs, bone broth, cheese, occasionally, beans, orgain protein.
What is it?
Orgain protein.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for my meal, or for my snacks, I like tofu pudding. I like well, this is new, but I like the keto crackers from Aldi's. They're really good.
Aldi's is coming out with a lot of good stuff.
Yes. I like raw carrots, protein shakes, sandwiches, and cereal sometimes.
I love cereal.
So good. And then the last is my fruits that I really enjoy, which are apples, pears, watermelon, blueberries, mangoes, oranges, and peaches.
Okay. So what we're going to do is you're going to go back to this list here, and let me just ask a few questions about this here stuff. So how often do you get bone broth in your diet?
At least maybe like every 2 weeks I'll make a new batch, or maybe every 2 to 3 weeks.
This is really big for gut healing and even brain health. Getting some extra bone broth. So anything I'm highlighting in yellow here are the things that you really want to make sure you always have in your cabinets. 100% of the time. Avocado, right? Because your baby step is to start adding more fat and protein into your meals.
Yeah.
Avocado is huge. That's a big one right there. You want to make sure you always, and avocado though, I wish I could always have it, but man, those suckers, I'll buy them green and they're black by the end of the day. So,
yes. And they're also really expensive to be doing that.
Very expensive, but if you can do it. I will say some stores do sell the frozen avocados, because I like to put avocados in my smoothie because it makes it so creamy, but you don't taste it. So maybe some frozen avocado might do.
Yeah, that's so true.
Edamame, I know I'm a huge fan of edamame too. This is another one. You could buy the frozen batches. Great source of protein.
Yeah.
Easy on the stomach. Tofu is another one. I know you like a lot of tofu, so I'm sure that's already in the house as much as possible.
Yeah.
Fish. And when we talk about fish, we want to try to go for the fish that are high in the omegas.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, when we're looking at brain health, omega fatty acids are really big for it. Our brain is literally fat. Like if you were to slice it, it's like a big old thing of butter up there, right? So, you know, really, right, like soft butter, not the hard stuff, but that's essentially what it is, right? So that's why, you know, the fat-free diets are actually awful for the brain. You're not feeding the brain what it needs.
Right.
So getting that, eggs is another one, right? Usually that's a big staple in our house. And when we run out, we're screwed. Now, dairy, you've been cautious of lately, right? Because you're starting to notice something with the dairy.
So I mean, I've always been like really sensitive to dairy, but lately, I mean, I've kind of been eating it pretty frequently, and I've been fine as far as I can tell. With like the really dried, like the dried cheeses, but like I will not go into like the heavy cream, like milk territory, because I just don't like it anyway. I don't like the flavor.
Yeah, and by the looks of it, you really like you've been doing soy milk and tofu, so your body's kind of acclimated to those flavors, right? The soy.
Yeah, and the tofu. Yeah, I really enjoy it because it gives me that protein. So like sometimes when I'm just like hungry, I'll just drink soy milk.
Yeah. Right. And sometimes that's all you need, that little glass of, and it's also refreshing too. At least
it's super refreshing. Yeah, I agree.
So let's look at some snacks here. And this list, by the way, is, you know, a lot of good stuff. Like I think your list of foods are good. I think for you, it's going to be make sure you're consistent with eating, right? Upping those calories, right? Like that's what we've been working on. And it'll get easier as you learn these little hacks. So let's head over to nutrition. So nutrition is like CCA's best friend. I feel for our international. Oh wow, I haven't even
Yeah,
seen the
I
new
know.
website.
I know. I just looked at it on my phone and I was like, oh my God.
So Michelle made a joke the other day that nutrition looked like a bunch of guys just made it in their basement, and now it looks like a legit website.
Yeah.
So what I like to use nutrition for is literally a search bar. But like now I'm even like, wow, I should check this out before I hopped on, because now I'm like, what is all of this? But you know, let's say you want to have in-house inventory, something for cereal that, you know, just, I love cereal. It's a quick bowl with some milk, toss it together and we're good, right? So I literally will use this as a search bar. I'll go on here. We're going to search cereal. Eventually my laptop will search it. It is very slow. Enter. There we go. So the awesome thing about nutrition, once it's on here functioning. Am I lagging to you guys, by the way?
No.
No. Okay, good. All right. Oh, my phone. Oh, I can't get that right now. So this will be all the searches for cereal, right? So this is a general search. There's a lot of different stuff on here. So if you want to narrow it down, so no, you're bless you. So our brains aren't overwhelmed with it. There's these little kind of what do you call these? I guess like
Filters.
to narrow it down. There we go. This is to narrow it down even further, or you can categorize it by low carb, keto, gluten free, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
So if we're gonna, let's say, sort, and that's not right. Man, they changed a lot of this. But I will say some cereals I love. The perfect keto honey nut cereals are good. That's one brand I really like. And then I've tried this one, the Diabetic Kitchen granola cereal. I hate that it's called Diabetic Kitchen, but it's actually pretty good. And I usually will use this also for my yogurts. So I was surprised at how tasty that was. Or my overnight quote unquote oats, which they're not actually oats. I was obsessed with overnight oats up until I started taking it because of the carbs. So I now use hemp hearts, chia seeds, and flaxseed. And
it doesn't get too like goopy.
It's not for me, and mind you, I'm a texture person. It is delicious. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. That has been my go-to now, especially in the hot weather. I want something cold in the morning. I do my overnight quote unquote oats with those 3 components. I'll put some almond milk in it. I'll do the Lily's chocolate chips, Lily's sugar-free chocolate chips.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's so I'll send you the recipe. It's
cool.
It's literally called like keto overnight oats or something like that. We're not keto, but often keto is going to be low carb, sugar free.
Right.
I'm going to send it to you right now. I just actually sent it to the client before because she's a big oatmeal fan. And I was like,
I love oatmeal so much.
And again, it's not like you can't have it, but you know, when we're looking at, you know, balancing things out, and for you right now, it's not that you're going low carb. We just need you to eat. Right? Like, once we will get to that baby step when we get there. Right now, we just got to get you getting in calories.
Yeah.
But I'm going to send this over to you. Select all, copy. But this has been a huge game changer for me. And what I like to do too is I'll put my matcha powder in it, just if I need like an extra caffeine boost, since I'm, you know, I do caffeine from matcha, but I don't do coffee. And it actually tastes really good.
It sounds incredible.
So let's go back on your list here. So what then we can do here, when we look at cereal, a few brands you could try: the Diabetic Kitchen, the Perfect Keto, or my favorite, Catalina Crunch. Catalina Crunch, hands down, is my favorite cereal. I'm a cereal lover, and this is the best gluten-free, low-carb cereal that I've eaten. Now, you do have to be careful because it does have sugary root fiber, and if that's not something that you've been used to having in your diet, it has a lot of fiber. So my stomach is like, whoa, we're getting too, you know, so just be mindful. It's almost like a slow introduction because it's got a lot of sugar.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I'm the same way. I usually get like, if I have too much fiber, my stomach is like, nah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so pump the brakes.
I remember when I first bought the cereal, I thought it was like a typical cereal. I'm going to get a big old bowl and fill it to the top, but it's a lot of protein. So you don't need a lot to feel full. Now I get like little cups and I'll eat it like that, or I'll put it in my yogurt or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Catalina Crunch is by far my favorite. They have chocolate, peanut butter, cinnamon, like they've got all the popular flavors.
Oh, perfect.
Another one is, what's the name of it? I literally can picture the box and I cannot think of the name. So here's the Catalina Crunch right here. So that's a popular cereal. What is the other name? See if it pops up here and I can remember. Oh man, and they make we'll probably stumble upon it, but they also make pretty good cereal. So those are 3 there. So another way you can use the site, like I said, if you can literally order from it, it looks like they've got a bunch of deals happening, which is nice.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm like, you know what, let me just see what kind of low carb keto items they have. So I'll go here and I'm like, you know what, I could go for, I don't know, let's just click on it and let's see what comes up. And then it'll show you kind of different items that you could go for.
Yeah.
Quest is one of the best brands out there, especially when you want to up your protein and fat. Quest is the way to go. For me, I don't know about other people. I don't like the bars. I prefer the cookies or the powder. The bars, I don't know. Try it. I'm very picky with anything that sticks to my teeth. So that texture comes well.
The bars are better when you heat them up.
The bars are better when you heat them up.
Yeah, if you like pop them in the microwave for like 15 seconds, it kind of takes away some of that chalkiness to it.
Interesting.
So that's good to know. That's where I will try that next. Yeah, because it has that chalky kind of, I guess it's compacted in there.
Yeah.
But Quest snacks, anything Quest related is going to give you your dose of fat and protein, because that's really what we want to look. We want to give you more bang for your buck. We want to, for someone who doesn't eat often, like myself, I'm not, not that I don't enjoy eating. It's not on my mind until I'm starving, right? So you want to get whenever you are eating, you want to get the most nutrition in for every bite you take. Right. So you want to get things that are going to be, high in calories, but in the calories that are good calories, not empty calories, right?
Right.
So if you're looking at let's look at the nutritional value here. Okay, let's bring this up. So we've got 20 grams of protein, only 4 grams of carbs, right? So that's going to give you, 170 milligrams of calcium, 30 milligrams of potassium, 4.5 grams of fat. None of it's from saturated or trans fat, right? This is more bang for buck. Right? So this is another great item, the Quest tortilla chips. I love these. They come with different flavors. Loaded taco, nacho cheese, sweet chili. Like there's a lot that you can do with these as well.
Cool.
All right. Let's see what else here. The Lily's sweet chocolate. If you're are you a chocolate person?
Yeah, I love chocolate.
Lily's is one thing. Here it is. High Key has the cereal.
Oh, High Key.
High Key. I knew it was gonna pop up eventually. High Key. So Lily's sugar-free chocolates are something you can do there.
Okay.
They're really good, really easy, and what I've actually done in the past was I melted the Lily's chocolate chips and then I made like a bark, but I put peanuts and sunflower seeds and chia seeds, like all the loaded calories. I put it all in there and you're basically eating chocolate covered stuff, but it was like in a bark cookie type
that's so smart. Yeah.
Really easy, energy saving. I'm not spending a ton of time and energy I melt the chocolate, I drop it in a bowl, I refrigerate it, we're done.
That's smart. I like that.
really, really easy stuff there. So Lily's chocolate chips, that's something I would always keep in my inventory. If I run out, then I'm like, oh no, we've got to go get some. Another really good item. Let's see here. But as you can see, there's like a ton of stuff. You know, they've got the sugar-free pudding. Let's talk about breads. Now, what kind of bread do you typically eat?
I usually eat what's around that my husband needs. So like we do a lot of Martins. We have been doing potato bread, and then my go-to is always like Ezekiel bread, because it didn't bother me or like give me constipation or anything. So I would just eat that.
Yeah, Ezekiel bread was the bread I often ate a lot too. You know, before I was diagnosed and stuff. Because the way it was made is probably a lot easier on the stomach than the way regular potato and white bread is made.
Yep, exactly.
Ezekiel bread is actually highly recommended for the gut. So when we're looking at breads, eventually, the goal is that we want to start introducing the idea of gluten-free, and you'll start to hear in Zoom calls and hear from Michelle and from us what gluten does to the body. Right now, take that information, but I don't want you tomorrow to be like, I got to go gluten-free. Your baby step is just to eat. But you could start looking at items and start trying out things. I've been gluten-free now for 5 years, and there's still things that I'm like. Gluten-free bread sucks until I found certain breads that work. They're like cardboard, right?
Yeah.
Carbonate, hands down, I will say it time and time again, is the best bread that I have found that is gluten-free and low carb. Because gluten-free doesn't always mean that it's low carb.
Yes, exactly.
You know, there's a lot of gluten-free items that are actually very high carb.
Yeah.
So this bread, I'm trying to bring it up by itself, because you want to make sure you get, if you're going to try it out, you want to try out the gluten-free one. And Carbonate does make a regular bread that's low carb but not gluten-free.
I see. Okay.
Oh my gosh, this website's, what's wrong with this computer? So here are the gluten-free bagels. Love them.
Interesting.
Right?
What's the texture like?
You know what? I'm telling you, I've tried so many, and it's got a spongy texture to it. I can eat it cold, which I've never been able to find gluten-free bread that I can eat cold. You usually have to toast it so it doesn't taste like a cardboard.
Yeah.
But I've eaten this bread cold.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's one of the best. I would say Carbonate or Base Culture, and even Base Culture, I'm like, Carbonate's my go-to. And everyone's taste is different. You know, Michelle loves Base Culture. She could do either one. I would always like Carbonate. I might as well invest stock into, because they are my favorite now, right? So if you look at staples or vessels, right? Staples, let's put staples, vessels. Vessels meaning the item that carries the flavor. You want to start looking for because those items tend to be the carby items, the pasta, the breads, the rice, right? Those tend to be high carb and they carry the flavor. Carbonate bread would fall under that.
Okay.
As a vessel, because it might carry the sandwich, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, for sure.
Because bread is something that we all love and can be so.
Sorry. Yeah, it's also really easy to just pick up a sandwich when you're like starving at night and you just want to go to sleep.
Listen, there have been times at night, my husband would attest to this, that I will just go to the fridge, take out the gluten-free bagel, not warm it up, and just eat it out of the bag. And I'm going to bed. That's it. I'm going to bed. I got my bagel.
There you go.
So the Carbonate bread.
Okay.
When we look at vessels, let's look at now like the pastas. Now, are you a pasta eater?
So I know I know my limit. So I do eat pasta, but it's very, very rare. And
Is it because you don't like it or because you just feel the fight?
No, I love it so much, but I always feel like my blood sugar spikes because obviously if even though you're putting meatballs, you're not eating most of the meatballs. You're eating like 2 or 3 meatballs and the rest of it is carbs. Is the pasta.
Right.
So yeah, I do try. Occasionally I would try to get gluten-free or the chickpea pasta, which I liked. But I kind of, oh no, that's a lie. I actually I eat a lot of soup. I love soup so much. Like I could eat it every meal. But I kind of, it doesn't usually fill me up because I usually have the same like blood sugar spikes because I use like soba noodles sometimes. And I'll for the same reason, I'll have more noodles and I'll have chicken and or edamame, whatever. So yeah, I really need help with the pasta, so that'd be great.
Yeah,
Or
so there's a
noodles or
few,
something.
there's a few here. Aldi actually sells the edamame pasta. They're edamame noodles.
Oh, okay.
Actually it's good. And you again are getting more bang for your buck, right? The Bonza chickpea pastas I like too. They are a little more on the higher carb, but again, you're getting more bang for your buck. So
yeah,
when we look at nutrition, if we're looking at a regular box of spaghetti that is, let's just say it's the same carbs as the Bonza, but I'm getting more nutrition and protein from the Bonza, I'm going to go for the Bonza versus the regular stuff, right?
Yeah, for the fiber too.
Right. And then LC Foods is another really good brand to try out. So I think I just actually passed them right here. Again, it looks like somebody put it together in like their basement. Their marketing is not the greatest, but their noodles are like, my husband actually liked it. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, they are, hold on, where are they? So it's soybeans.
Oh, it's soybeans. Okay, cool.
Okay,
let me ask you, how have you, since like doing this transition, do you find yourself eating like, well, it's 2 questions. Do you find yourself eating more processed foods, and does it bother you? And do you also spend a lot more?
Loaded questions. So
yeah, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Yes, with the process. Here's the thing. I remember having a call with Michelle. When I started with the program, I was also working at a gym, and I was working with people that were like, plant-based, get it organic as much as you can, right? And I was having that call with her. She's like, listen, if you could do it, great, by all means, but I'd rather you eat than worry about stressed out, not eating, like the processed foods. We know some of them have issues, but what's going to cause more issues is the stress and the not eating.
That's fair.
Because if that was the case, like I have family members that literally eat processed food all their lives and live to be 98. And there's people that, so it's about balance, right? It's about choosing the battles that we're picking out here. This kind of eating can get expensive when you're buying a lot of the products already made. My in my journey since I started back in 2018, there's been these lulls and these peaks of like, if I'm really busy that I know I'm not going to be able to get to the recipes that Michelle has provided, I'm going to buy more stuff that's just ready to go. But when I can make my stuff, I'm going to make it. And a lot of it's easy that I'm still even figuring out. Like the microwave bread, you put the ingredients in a bag, you have it ready to go for when you want to microwave. The only dough, which I know you've loved. The only dough, like you could prep that and freeze it and have it ready to go.
You can freeze it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Michelle has frozen some of the only dough batches.
Nice.
I'll double check with her. I know she freezes something.
I'll try it.
Yeah, but
worst that can happen.
What else does she freeze that she says to prep in advance?
Chaffles.
There we go. The chaffles.
Chaffles. Interesting. Okay.
So that's another thing on here that I always recommend clients to put is your recipes, right? Okay. What are the recipes? Like I love the only dough recipe. I need to make sure I have mozzarella in the house at all times because that is something I love to do, right?
Yeah.
The microwave bread is another one. Microwave bread, it's I like to use it as a sweet. I will put chocolate protein in it. I'm not gonna have it as regular bread. I'm gonna make it like a cake.
It's not great as regular bread.
I haven't learned the trick. Michelle has. I haven't learned it yet. So the microwave bread, the only dough, the shuffles, right? The cookies. I love how easy the recipe is that she has for the chocolate chip cookies.
Oh.
Okay. I'm putting here, quote unquote, the overnight oats, right? When you know what recipes are your foundation, like recipes that that you go to them often, you want to make whatever's in that ingredient list is what you have in your house at all times.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this becomes essentially your shopping list, and you start to then pick it apart, like some people, and again, it's really, there's no right way to do this. It's also knowing what works for you. Our client who picked it apart and literally put it like, I get these from this store because it's the cheapest here. I get these from this place because it's right. Like I get the Catalina Crunch from Amazon. Bless you.
Thank you.
I get the Catalina Crunch from Amazon. I get 4 bags in a box and I'm subscribed. So it just automatically comes. I know I'm done in 3 weeks. It comes the next 3 weeks.
Okay,
right?
That makes sense.
Certain foods I get from nutrition because it's cheaper there, but other things I found at Walmart. Like Walmart now, Aldi is starting to sell a lot of these kind of products.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Okay.
The biggest thing is making sure that we have our inventory for those days where there's days where I wake up and I'm going to cook everything in sight, have 4 main meals. That's once in a month, maybe. Right?
Yeah, that was me today.
Most of the time it's okay, what am I going to eat so I can survive today? But knowing that I have to have the 1,200 calories, right?
Got it. Okay.
Making sure our inventory is stocked, but that we make it easy for ourselves. Because I don't know about you, but food shopping for me is incredibly triggering.
Yeah, it gives me a lot of anxiety. I hate it.
Because there's, especially when our brains, I'm anxiety driven. I get overstimulated easily. I go into a supermarket and there's 30 options for the same kind of thing. I'm like, well, where do I go?
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to eat better and you're just all right, let me just spend $400 on all these healthy foods, but I have no idea what I'm going to do with them.
Right. So that's why using us as the guide, using the other clients, there are a ton, if you go onto the Facebook group, a ton of threads of nutrition orders, food hacks, things that they found at different stores, checking that out and saying, hey, I have this store by me. Maybe I'll go check that out. I think would be really beneficial because it's not, right, you're not going in blindly. You're going in with, hey, this person, right? And it's how anything is. I'm going to buy a product that another person's reviewed versus going in blindly and trying something out.
Yep, that makes so much sense. Okay.
So this, right, let me make sure I did share it. Yep, it went through. Yeah. So this is shared with you. This doesn't have, you can make it look whatever way you want, make it yours to work with. And there will be times that we'll probably come back to this and say, hey, how's it going? If you find new recipes, add it on here. If you find new staples, new foods, whatever the case may be, this is yours to use and utilize.
Okay, cool. This is good. This is helpful.
Yeah. How are you feeling about this after this call?
It feels good because honestly, I'm very basic, and a lot of these things, all these things that I mentioned, I get all the time. So it doesn't feel too overwhelming to just switch out something for something else. And
for your baby step, again, because you need to up your calories, and to up your calories, we're asking you to look for those calories that are coming from protein and fat. So when you go shopping or when you're out and about, and especially you use me and Michelle, text us as much as possible. When Juliana's on board, you've got her as well. Text us and I love getting clients and saying, hey, I'm at Burger King right now. What do I eat that's not gonna kill my hormones? Okay, here's what I need you. I need you to get this item. I need you to take off the bread. I need get an extra of this, right? You can go anywhere and we can help you find something that's gonna help you and make sure that it's gonna up your calorie intake in the right way. Okay. And then you're going to look for foods on nutrition. I didn't show you here, but look for fat. They're called fat bombs.
Oh, fat bombs.
they are higher in fat and they don't taste terrible. So, you know, again, more bang for your buck.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that is the goal. A lot of this stuff is a lot of new information.
Yeah.
We're not asking you to go gluten-free. We're not asking you to go sugar-free just yet. We need you to get those calories in so that your body can start functioning, you know, at a better pace and level. So you start to feel like, okay,
Yeah.
I feel like because when you're so tired, you can't think about what else to do,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know? So it's getting those energy levels up.
Yeah, that makes all the sense. Okay.
All
Yeah, this is
right.
helpful.
Awesome. So
Cool.
as always, reach out to us if you need anything.
Thank
And
you.
have a great rest of your night.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good night, ladies.
Have a good night.
Bye.